Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 23rd of the Nationally Relevant Charts, 5,000 tick chart. And I was preparing everything. But then as I was looking at my nice orange dip below green, which is equivalent to your sign under red, sort of buy setup, usually is the beginning trigger to all things rise, and then immediately right here, the green was crossing over cyan. So it was right at these bars, and then lo and behold, boom, everything started just skyrocketing. And I mean, it was pretty quick because we were minus 50 something at the moment, and then explosion through, and you can see uh, first stopped at the previous positive extreme retraces, and then blew up all the way up to the top one. So instantly, the market is healthy. Trump saw the headlines; they were just a massive sea of recessionary blah blah blah, inflation, and that we're going into deep dark market territory. And then now all of a sudden, that is no longer the story because he's talking to Iran. So, for as much as people don't like the negotiation tactics, it's not what they're used to. Threatening to blow up all of their power plants sort of got their attention, evidently. And he decided to back off the hard line of no negotiations because he wanted them to capitulate, or the appearance of it doesn't mean anything is going to happen from it, but that doesn't matter because it's all about narrative, and that caused this move. So, is that enough to stave off everything? As far as the market is concerned, yes. Does it help transit oil and fertilizers and natural gas through the Strait of Hormuz? Well, that's a different story. From the 50K standpoint, you can see it's going to be a single bar here that you've gone back all the way, 3 days of meltdown and cured it instantly. It's a positive from a Bitcoin standpoint, but modestly so because, again, you would think that gold in that should be rising more than it is, and the reality is that's all true. But yeah, you have to actually have the liquidity in that at this particular point. Everyone's been selling positions and stuff like that, so trying to raise capital potentials. But you can see what this has done to crude prices here live here dropping off dramatically. It's still a hefty premium, so you got a long way to go to get back down to preconditions. But hey, ceasefire sort of like we'll see how extensive the detail on it is before we get too excited. But certainly from a market standpoint, that's a relief. It's not escalation that everyone was looking for, and pre-market everyone was to go back over $100. Well, yeah, not the case anymore. So yeah, that, it's pretty quickly how things can change on that. That'll be a boost to the euro. That may be enough to support it because it was seriously having issues again, and theoretically should continue to have issues because at the end of the day, U.S. is still way outperforming. That was changed it to silver from where we were before. Not bad. I mean, at the end of the day, your commodities are going to struggle during this time, even though, yes, inflation will be perking back up again. The question is the rate of it and the extent, and that is still going to be perked into things, food prices and all that. Well, 3 to 6 months from now, so that's right around election time. Couldn't be any worse news, and that's because of the sustained timing of this has gone on longer than they were anticipating, and because of that, it poses a significant future strain on the market. Well, at least actual goods and supplies down the road, and the market's certainly going to have to react to that. And once the euphoria wears off, we'll see. So we're already starting to flip around there. You have the huge excitement, but now it went to an extreme. So level off a bit here. These are all positive extremes. Yep, even for the first one. So the potential that this entire move could be reset, yeah, certainly depends on the rhetoric. So, but stave off the open. Yeah, it looks like it could be just enough to provide the optimism that traders need. And it's funny to see it because, I mean, pretty clear for this 5K chart as we saw the dip of the orange below green and red already above white. And that right down here at the bottom, just below the 23%, but right at it. And then the crossover right there was sort of that nice confirmation right before it happened. So, um, yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of people clearly that knew what was about to break, and so that kind of suddenness really drove things, and that was what was interesting about it to me. You can still see the move starting, but really that became quite dramatic. And when we look at it from our spread standpoint, when it comes to the DOC as well as MBI readings of that, we always talk about the magenta over yellow and then blue over the gray, all those perfectly inclined. But really powerful is as long as that orange stays below green and green is rising, you end up with bullish markets. Is when it starts to stall and then the orange gets outside the range, is where you get a little bit of difficulties. And in this particular case, you can see how that's separated. And now you're looking for orange to move between cyan and red on this trail off for a continuation. So you've got a reset here of steel, so that coming from below her, we'll be able to support that, and that won't take much to push it back up. Once it gets back above the negative 13, you get a pop back up. So these are those little moves, and it becomes very easy to see this as it's happening, and that's the difference between being able to follow the readings of the indicators in real-time action because, well, as you can see with these 5,000 tick bars, it could be anywhere from a few seconds to, minutes. It just depends on the volume being traded, and at this particular point, it was trading quickly. In fact, my matrix still has trouble keeping up with how fast the move has been. So volatility, fantastic. Here it is. Enjoy. So what a great start to the week. Fantastic. Have a good one. Trade well. Anything relevant, I'll continue to put it on the team chat, but we'll go in more detail on some of these additional changes that are going to be updated onto the pink bar and the adjustments that will come with them, because then it's going to be the automated trading for following what the pink bar does. So that'll be exciting as well. Because right now, while we color everything a particular color for time, when it comes to actual trade following, the trades will have slightly different markers where they exit out, and then there's a neutral period. Because when we get into consolidation, meaning where the spread between your orange and steel isn't large enough, you lose an edge. It just doesn't have the volatility built into it. So we're able to measure that, and that's what I've been working with recently, is the spread relationships, and they're narrowing and contracting, expanding. I guess the closest thing you could think of would be like a Bollinger Band, but not really completely different, because we're using asymptotic math where we're actually projecting into the future where it should be, and then whether trends within the readings actually match it. So it's a bit of a variation. That's the easiest way to describe it. It's a little more complicated, but yeah, that's the whole point. Math can be complicated at times. Anyway, that's the current state of things. I guess I can put up the daily. You see the relevance of that. I mean, your best hope within this configuration is just to get back to the 50%. That's all the way up at 67.80. So you've got another 100 points to climb here, and that would be a huge day. Up a couple hundred would be significant. But I would point out, within like 2008 and those kind of situations, you had days that were just massive turnarounds to the upside. Sometimes lasted a day or two, only to have it fade back down and restart. So to change the broader trend, looks like it will from the daily standpoint. If this holds up, you'll have orange finally going from being in this consistent down mode to dipping below the green on the DOC right here. You'll also have magenta over yellow. Yeah, that would be a significant change if it holds up. So we'll see how that fares the rest of the day. As always, though, have a good one. Trade well.